Welcome to the B2B Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Sierra Cristo. How do you make sure that you have as successful a second round, and you're not falling into some kind of sophomore slump with your Kickstarter journey? What are some of those skills and learnings that they're bringing into round two?
You're definitely going to learn something from your first rodeo on Kickstarter. You're always going to take something away, even if you executed it very well. So probably a lot of those learnings are going to be around communication and figuring out how to do it better the next time, how to anticipate questions that backers had during your first run. And hopefully you're just in general in a better spot as far as being able to answer questions around how are we making this? What is the timeline for that? I think with follow-on campaigns, there's just more trust. There's at least one case study of you doing this and accomplishing what you set out to do. I think you get more trust baked in to follow on. But then I think what it does is creates more pressure on the quality of the product and how unique it is. And, it's hard to create a completely new thing that is as exciting as the first thing that you made.
And you can continue building on the same, you still have contact with your backers from the first round. Is that right? Are you still able to build on that community?
Of course. Yeah. And updating and direct messaging and, of course, emailing and all of the things to your existing audience and bringing them along for the ride, giving them exclusive deals in the process as well to thank them for supporting you from the beginning. I think those are all, yes, that's all sound strategy. But yeah, you also want to see maybe your next product, it does speak to a slightly different audience or completely new ones. And so, yeah, there's always a kind of process of testing and validating that these are the folks that are going to be really excited about this, or do I need to go and do some more work off platform and finding those people.
So what are some of the big pitfalls you find creators fall into in this process, in that first round?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one is what I'll call if you build it, they will come. And what I mean by this is that you've done no marketing, you've built no audience before you come to Kickstarter and kind of expect all of your marketing to just happen on platform. Certainly we have, millions of people in our backer community, but they may not see your project because there's no kind of momentum for it. There are thousands of projects live on Kickstarter at any one time. Just like on other platforms, if you're not on, the front of people's feeds, then, you're not going to be seen by as many folks. So really developing that audience and figuring out who this resonates with and starting to grow that before you launch. There's no secret that, campaigns that are raising 6-7 figures on Kickstarter, they're doing a lot of this before they launch. Also, equally as important is figuring out what the story is you're telling, what the content is, and testing that with the audience. Your headlines and creative, your visuals, photo, video, all of that some is going to land better than others. And if you know that and you've tested that in small ways, then you can really scale that up and know what resonates earlier. So yeah, I think there's a few different levels of tests to do, and all of that.
And part of that is having these working prototypes, or maybe not even a working prototype, but just a visual model to really, a rendering of some sort to bring it to life and feel exciting to backers. So how does something that's not actually working yet get the backing? How do you really convince them that you have a plan in place and this is going to function by the time you get your hands on it?
So a lot to unpack here. What you cannot do is just bring a render to Kickstarter and say, look at this great thing, don't you want it? There does need to be an unedited video of your prototype, and what its current functionality is a requirement. So, knowing that this may not be the finished thing, but you just need to be very clear about where you are in that process. And, that's the transparency that we're promoting as a platform, so that you're not kind of just showing beauty models of something and have no idea how it's going to work inside. And so, yeah, I think, again, in other forms of the more homework you do, the further you can go along in product development and multiple rounds of prototyping.